Well, hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at my ultralight essentials, the stuff that I bring if I'm going on a fishing trip with my ultralight rod and reel. Just about over maybe a year and a half ago now, I got into the world of ultralight fishing and I've loved it. So I've talked about it here or there in videos. I made lots of videos using a lot of these techniques, but I figure I'll compile them all into one big kind of guide of my expertise at least, which isn't a lot, but maybe you can learn some things. So we'll talk about rod and reels to start. This rod here is the Bass Pro Shops Airstream PTC. PTC stands for panfish, trout, and crappie. And this one just caught my eye when I was in that store. It's a beautiful looking rod, and I've loved it so far. I was a little bit apprehensive on buying a Bass Pro branded rod and reel. I just never have owned one before, and I don't know, the name kind of throws me off a bit, but I love it. It's been great. It's not too whippy. It's got a nice sturdy feel to it. It's a graphite blank. And this is the Ultralight in a fast action 5'6". I went with 5'6" just because I feel like it gives me a good amount of castability, but it keeps it small and compact. I usually keep on most of my rods for bass around like the 6 foot length size, so this is pretty standard for me, and so far it's been great. Now the reel I have on here is the Bass Pro Shops Microlight Elite. And this thing is a beauty. Very, very smooth. I really enjoy using it. When I went to Bass Pro and I picked up the rod, I was looking at the reels they had and I was kind of iffy. Kind of wanted to do some more research, but a lot of the guys there are crappie fishermen and they were recommending this to me. And what can I say? I took the bait, I bought it, and I'm not disappointed at all. So when you're buying your rod and reel, you know, it doesn't really matter what you do, but make sure you buy that small reel, because if you go for like a 2, 3, 4,000 series, it's going to be a little bit too big on that rod. Definitely, you know, you don't feel the need to go all out and buy expensive stuff. This is a pretty cheap setup right here. I think it was, what, 50 bucks for the reel American and 60 for the rod. So you can't go wrong there. I also own a Mitchell Avoset R combo here, and this was really cheap. I think it was like $60 Canadian at my local tackle shop. And this gets the job done just fine. It's not actually an ultralight. It's a light setup, but you know, same thing, 5'6", and it's great. Obviously, the Bass Pro one that I have is going to be a lot better because it's double the price for the combo. But you can never go wrong going cheap on the ultralight stuff. I don't think it really matters that much when you're lugging in panfish and crappie. I have no experience with higher end rods, so I can't say whether or not they're that much better. But you know, there's a lot of YouTubers out there. Fish Anything is one that I watch a lot, and he does some great reviews of some high end stuff that I'm a bit jealous of. I would love to pick one up one day. So when it comes to line, I currently have the P-Line CXX 4-pound test, extra strong copolymer. I don't know what that extra strong, I think that's just marketing to get people like me to purchase it. I bought this, it was on sale. I've never used copolymer before. I do like it, I recommend it. You know, it's not bad line. However, I've always used Trilene XL Smooth Casting. If you're gonna buy one of these, you know, your first ever ultralight, just spool up some mono unless you're, you know, more experienced with braid and tying leader lines. But you can get away with mono just fine. You know, I stick to 4-pound and 6-pound. Last year I had 6-pound spooled up and it worked great. This year I went with 4-pound because of the light combo. I use that for bass and panfish, and the ultralight itself is mainly just my panfish rod now, and it's lots of fun. If you're catching bass more often, I would definitely size up to the 6-pound. It can be tough losing a fish on that 4-pound line. It is difficult to reel in a bigger bass with that. I've lost a few, and it does hurt. It does hurt, but it's obviously a lot more fun the lighter you go. So it's up to you. 6-pound you can't go wrong with though. Alright, let's talk about the fun stuff now. Tackle. This here is my tackle bag when I take the ultralight out. Usually I take a huge backpack full of all my lures and gear with me when I get on the water. However, if I'm taking just the ultralight, I'll switch to something like this and just throw all my micro finesse plastics and jigs in here. It's nice, it's light, it's small, and it gets the job done. Throw it over my shoulder and I'm good to go. So as for ultralight tackle, I usually stick with the micro finesse stuff. I've used some more full-size tackle, like 3/32 ounce jigs with, you know, like little 3-inch swim baits, which work great as well on the ultralight. However, I think it really shines when you're targeting panfish. It really makes them just a lot more enjoyable experience. So that's when I use stuff like the, you know, 1/32 ounce, 1/64 ounce jigs. Mule fishing here, which I've talked about lots on this channel. I have a lot of videos using and talking about. Makes some of the best jigs I've found for these small styles. 164 ounce and 132 ounce are the two that I use the most. 164 ounce is great when you're catching bluegill, and 132 ounce is great for all other panfish, and they can catch lots of smallmouth bass as well. I've had luck with that for sure. Obviously, jigs are one of those things that you can get almost anywhere, and you'll get good quality out of most. Even like a lot of local stores will make their own. Bass Pro Shops here is a 132nd ounce style from Bass Pro that I use a lot of, and I've been going through them. They come in with so many in a pack that, you know, it takes a while to get through them, and I like them. They work great. So when it comes to those jigs, you know, what do you put on those? Well, I personally use lots of different microplastics. There's so many different ones on the market, but I'll give you a few that I really like to use nowadays. When I first started out, my main plastic that I used to use and swore by was the 1-inch gulp minnow. I thought it was a great bait, but the problem with it was that the jar that it comes in is always leaky, the juice that it comes in is super stinky, and realistically, there's so many different plastics that will get the job done just as good. Before I get into the microplastics though, we'll stick with these. These are the 2.8-inch donkey tails from Mule Fishing. Like I said, these were great. I caught so many fish on these. I have so many videos talking about them, so I won't get into too much detail, but they're a nice paddle tail style finesse bait. And of course, the Donkey Tail Junior. Now this is the micro version. It's a 1.6-inch bait, and it works great. This is my favorite, one of my go-tos for panfish, things like bluegill, that sort of thing. Another one that I like from Mule Fishing is the minnow, the Mule Minnow. This is the 2.2-inch size, and this works great for, you know, crappie, perch, panfish, all sorts of panfish, right? I find panfish, you know, you don't want to overcomplicate it because they're going to bite almost anything most days. There's been a few times where I haven't been able to get them to get a bite any of my plastics, but usually anything will work. The brand Trout Magnet makes a great kit that has everything you need, including jigs and plastics to get on the water. But I like to spice it up. I don't know. I buy too many things, I guess. And so I'll either go with the, you know, swim bait kind of minnow style, but I'll also go with the, I guess, like a bug style of bait. So Mule Fishing also makes the horsefly, which is it's another little, you know, bug style bait. It's a great one, 1.3-inch. And it's small, it's nice. Euro Tackle makes one that I've used a lot, and it's the Anisoptera. That's what I currently have rigged on my Ultralight. I've used it most recently. Euro Tackle is a cool brand. They have a lot of different micro finesse style of baits, and some interesting shapes and sizes, so I definitely do want to put an order in soon. I just don't have much experience using them, but they seem great, and there are a lot of guys who swear by it. But, you know, it's hard to find some of those things in your area, so in that case, you know, you can always go with simple brands. Berkeley Power Bait makes these 2-inch ripple shads, and I think these are great. This is the Fire Tiger color. I have a video up where I've caught lots of fish with these. Bass and panfish will bite these. And that's great on the 132nd ounce jig. Bass Pro also has the Crappie Max line of products, and these are great. Particularly these stubby butts that I use. I've caught so many fish on these, and they've kind of become my go-to in the most recent months for ultralight micro finesse fishing. The crappie tubes are great. This is what I was recommended when I bought the rod, because I was targeting crappie, and they said they swear by the tubes. I haven't had much luck on them, but I love the stubby butt. Another brand that I like is 13 Fishing. These are the 13 Fishing Jeffrey white number 1. Very, very small light bait. This is the most similar to the gulp minnow I find. It's almost like an ice fishing lure, I would say. But you know, if you want, you can go really, really small. Pair this on like a 1/80th ounce jig if you're targeting some bluegill with tiny little mouths, really finicky bluegill. But yeah, as far as tackle, that's where you go. You can't go wrong. I would stick with a small jig and a small plastic and see what bites. And then you can, you know, venture out from there. I find a lot of people will use like the micro crankbaits. I've never used that. The micro chatterbait, I'm not fond of. I think the chatterbait works better with it when it's bigger. And you know, things like the beetle spin. I love the beetle spin. It's a classic. You can get those really, really cheap. I don't have any right now, but yeah, there's so many different baits and tackle. Stay simple and work your way out. And finally, before I'll go, I'll touch on some of the most important things that I have on the water, and it's tools. So these pliers I always keep with me. They're great for getting hooks out of mouths. Yeah, everybody knows what a plier is used for, and yeah, it works. However, when you're working with bluegill that are swallowing hooks or perch or things like that with smaller mouths, the pliers aren't going to be any help. That's when you switch to the forceps. These are pretty much medical grade forceps. My girlfriend makes fun of me because they have similar ones in her office. However, these have gotten me out of quite a few pinches with fish house swallowed hooks that I was not planning on harvesting. And of course, scissors. You need scissors. So don't forget all your tools, but you know that, and hopefully this is a nice little informative video and you got some tips out of on what gear to use. So thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good. And see you all later. Hopefully I will have some more actual fishing footage coming soon. I haven't really been able to solve this late fall transition, but I'm getting back out there. Don't worry, I haven't given up, guys. Thank you.